Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we have a mission to wake the world up to what's possible. And here today to help me with that mission are some of the most amazing authors of a new book that we have coming out. It's called The Energy Medicine Solution: Mind-Blowing Results for Living an Extraordinary Life. Gotta love that title, right? Before I introduce these amazing women to you, I'm going to say a big thank you to our lead author, Jacqueline Kane. Jacqueline, thank you so much for getting this group of amazing people together and really for your big mission about this topic, to have these conversations and really help people understand just what's possible when they embrace even what energy medicine means. I can't wait to have this discussion today, you guys. So, Alana Heim guides you to navigate the energies beneath your business, life, and money so you create sustainable prosperity your way. I also have Denise M. Simpson with me. She is the courageous heart coach, helping entrepreneurs, professionals, and busy parents discover their courage to take bold action for confidence and success with deep spiritual connection. Whether it's writing to leave a legacy or showing up powerfully, making an impact, healing themselves, families, communities, and the world. I have Kathy Boyer with me. She's an animal communicator, energy healer, an author who loves to help animals and their humans recover from the effects of trauma, which have impacted their health, behaviors, and relationships with each other, restoring wholeness and peace. And Dr. Makiba is all for love. She helps souls searching for answers find love and light by illuminating their life path using the power of Reiki and her spiritual gifts. Yeah, we're about to have a really juicy conversation. Dr. Makiba, you're going to start the party off today. Tell us about your amazing chapter.
Sure. Well, first, I want to say thank you for having me. This has been a really enlightening experience working with you and all of these amazing authors on this book project. My chapter is called Reiki for Love, Igniting the Light in You. And it really talks a lot about my own spiritual journey and how I got to the place that I'm in now. And just the quick summary is that I am light, I am love, I am like 150% better than I was last year this time because I allowed the energy in my body to get right. And so Reiki is all about using our energy to help each other open ourselves up to the possibilities. And so I like to say in the work that I do, I am a Reiki master, that I ignite the light in people because I want you to get to where I am. So that's it in a nutshell.
I ignite the light in you. I like that. So, you just said you spent the last year getting your energy right inside of you. Will you talk a little bit about what that meant for you?
Sure. So for the past 18 years prior to that, I was in a marriage that was pretty draining energetically. My husband, ex-husband now, and I hate to talk about him, but he had just a really negative energy about him. And so that can kind of drain a person like me who is really receptive to the energy around me. I've always, even before I learned Reiki, could walk into a room and feel negativity in a space, and it made me want to leave, you know? And so once I figured out what that was not just me being extra sensitive, but that it was a God-given gift to all of us, that we have this energy swirling and we can use our intuition to respond to things, the fight or flight kind of response. That was when I realized I needed to take flight from my marriage. I was like, this negativity is really, really heavy. And I had this heaviness in my back, like the upper mid back. So I was seeing a massage therapist, a chiropractor. That didn't help. So I wanted to see a Reiki specialist to see if the chakras and the energy was all that it was cracked up to be. And so early this year, I was looking for a Reiki practitioner and couldn't find anybody, which is really bizarre because there are a lot of Reiki practitioners here in Atlanta. but I found a class. And so I took a course and learned how to do it myself. And the first thing they teach you is Reiki self healing. And so that's what my chapter is about. It offers some simple tools for people to work on their own energy to get it right, as I said. And I mean to get it in alignment, because when it's off, all of your things are off. You know, you feel unbalanced, you might not know why. And when you learn to read your own energy and how to help align it, it makes a difference.
I appreciate you talking about that piece of your story. I know that other people will resonate with that. And I think I'm just so grateful to be able to play in the sandbox with people like you all day, because you take responsibility for these things for yourself, right? And then you go out and you teach other people about it. And I know for me too, in my own marriage, um, it had to come to some kind of more dramatic deal breaker moment. But if we could feel that in ourselves sooner and recognize that it has an impact on our health, physical, all the health, but physical, mental, emotional, then maybe we could make those decisions and take responsibility sooner. And I hope this book and listening to the authors today, you guys, really helps you understand like how to do that better. I know that it will. Makiba, thank you so much for being here today. Stay tuned, you guys. More from Makiba in just a minute or two. Alana, are you ready to talk about your chapter?
I am. So I want to start out by saying it's an honor to be with this group within the book. So much genius and brilliance. So really to go through each chapter and grab the pieces that jump out at you. So my chapter is number 18, Quiet the Mind, the Force is with you. And one of the things that I've seen and heard from within myself, within clients, the world around me, is we never know how to shut the mind off. And it usually gets in our way. So we all are radiating such brilliance and light and beauty. And the mind will tell us that we're dark and we're ugly and we're, all the things we're not. So my chapter actually gives you a tool to help you learn how to be in hara, which is where you are fully present in the now. Now, we often get caught up in we should meditate, but meditation is one of those things where you have to be quiet and you don't get to be in hara in that moment everywhere you go. So the tool is really helping you to quiet the mind, be very present, because when you're in the moment, this is how you actually get opportunities in front of you that you have the awareness to say yes to. So prosperity comes through, whatever shows up. And if we're caught up in our mind, we're not going to be there to notice the subtleties, the big pieces that land for us, the things that we wanted. So I give you an example of where I was not in hara, where I absolutely lost my shit, which is not the norm for me. And then I give you the example of when I realized through that experience that I needed to be present all the time, and how it set me up to be able to handle an event in my life where I could still be calm, fully present, asking and manifesting really what it is that I wanted.
I love it. Was writing something down that you said that I loved. You guys get opportunities to say yes to amazing things when you're in the moment. Alana, I love that. It's really a powerful, simple idea, but super powerful. And I think all of us get a little excited about what's possible here. We want you guys to understand just what's going to happen if you practice some of these simple, but really foundational tools. Anything else you want to say about that, the now?
I come from the financial industry. So we're always living in the future. And then we're also always living in the past. And really, whether you're dealing with your prosperity, your finances, your relationships, your health, career, it's all about being here in the moment to allow for whatever's coming, because there's much change on the planet, to be ready for whatever it is that shows up. And really, if you're off in the future or in the past, you're not going to be able to really capture what is needed from you in that moment.
Yes. Thank you, Alana, for being here today.
Thank you.
Denise, are you ready to talk about your chapter?
Absolutely. It is an honor and a privilege to be with all of you. And then the book Jacqueline has put together is just phenomenal. And it's going to help so many people. So I wrote chapter 13, which is about being ditzy, being called ditzy, is divine healing in action, tapping into 5D energy for healing. And what that means is we're used to a Western model of medicine for the 3D body, which is focused on the physical, but it negates a lot of the mental, but definitely the spiritual components. 5D healing it integrates the mind, the body, the spirit, and the quantum field. It's the energy of our auric field, or Reiki, as Dr. Makeba talked about. I was totally skeptical in about 2010 when I went to a Reiki training weekend. And part of me went just to see what that was about. And I walked away regaining my ability to see auric fields around people, being validated for seeing angel energy when I was 5, and it was squashed and criticized out of me. And since then, it started my healing journey. So since then, I've gotten certified in Reiki, certified in tapping, the emotional freedom technique. And then I spent 6 years learning evolutionary mystic meditation with Alan Davidson, who's now passed. And that's where he combined tapping with voice dialogue for the chatter in the mind, so that meditation is active. It is not a passive sitting on a cushion, no offense to anyone else, but it shifts the brainwave states. And so there's neuroscience behind what I do and the results that my clients get when we learn to master and harness our ability to shift from beta, which is the current state we're in, being very active, very conscious, to alpha, and then especially theta. When you can be present in theta, that's where you can unprogram or deprogram the subconscious and then reprogram it with what I call the success voices, your success team of enlightenment. And that helps to heal a lot of the trauma in the shadow voices. So I know I said a lot, but there's a lot.
A lot of awesomeness is what it is.
Yeah.
You guys, there's such amazing science now behind these ideas and techniques. And so we're kind of past like, does this exist? Or do we believe that? No, like, let's do this, you guys, that we're beyond that now. We know mind-body connection is there. We have seen science about it. We are practicing these techniques like Denise is talking about, and we're getting phenomenal, mind-blowing results from using these modalities. I think everybody is so excited about being able to teach it to you, get you curious. Maybe there's something you've been dealing with for a long time, and now you might have a little bit of hope about something new to try. Denise, thanks for being here today.
You're welcome.
Kathy, tell us about your amazing chapter.
Okay, my chapter is chapter 5, Overcoming Animal-Related Trauma, a simple method to heal your heart. I am an animal communicator and energy healer. And through my studies, I realized there were several events that happened throughout my life regarding an animal that left a trauma imprint within me. And as I've become more experienced with what I do, I've been able to heal the trauma within myself for those incidents, and also to help other people do the same with their animals. And I use the technique of tapping, as Denise just mentioned, EFT tapping. And I found a lot of results with it myself and others. And it's helped improve my relationships with my current animals, as well as heal the trauma from previous experiences.
Kathy, I love that you talk about the animal and specifically animal trauma. So any of those people out there who have had, lost their animals, lost their pets. I mean, even if it was to old age, I don't even really care what the reason was. Those are these little beings that we bring into our lives that give us unconditional love. And the bond is so strong. I think the reason it's trauma is because the bond is so strong. What do you want to say about that, Kathy?
I agree. And a lot of times we just don't share the impact of animal related situations. For example, when I was a kid, and this is one of the stories I share, there was a German Shepherd off the street from me that used to bark and come to the fence every time I'd walk up the street. And I was petrified of this dog. And I realized, you know, a few years later, I was still scared of German Shepherds. And so I was able to use the tapping and help me through that. And sometimes we don't even connect what happened with a current behavior. And that's where I can help people to figure that out. And hopefully my stories will share or trigger some emotions that might help you remember some things as well.
And all of you are talking about ways to kind of clean up and clear our own energy. We have experiences that literally get stuck. And we could go into what that means a little bit, but they get stuck because they are energy, and everything is energy. And this is going to help us into this next question that I want to hear from all of you about. Energy is everything, right? We know this. And it's very exciting to talk about this topic because it's so powerful in terms of what we can do with it. What I want you guys to share is, what do you think that one thing about energy medicine is that you want our listeners to understand in terms of what it can do for their life, these particular problems they're having? Alana, you're first on this one. What's that one important thing you want people to know about energy?
It's the current beneath the ocean, right? It's the powerful force that you don't realize is there until it grabs you, it impacts you, it affects you. It's like walking into the room and maybe somebody is deeply emotional and you can feel it. And we are so connected with each other in this way. It's these subtleties that they're usually invisible. They're almost like non-existent until you read these kinds of chapters and you embark on the journey of exploring energy for yourself. So in that way, it becomes louder. And it's like the intuition is just knocking at the door and you feel it now. Whereas most of the time in our bodies, we don't really know it's an energy. And then it gets louder and louder until it's tapping you and you're like, oh, okay, I need a doctor. Like, what is this pain? Go away. Give me something to numb it. And that's when it really hits you physically, because underneath it all, it's been there giving you that subtle warning or that message or sending you the love to tell you, hey, I'm here for you. And here's something that needs to switch or change.
Yes, thank you for kicking that question off so brilliantly. There are some real foundational ideas about this, and I think that's one of them, definitely one of them. There's many, right? So Denise, how about you for this one? Like, what's that thing you want people to understand in terms of what's possible when they embrace this topic?
From my own experiences dealing with depression and almost checking off the planet back in 2012 with a pile of pills, energy is life. And healing our traumas, healing our wounds, using tapping to change our brains with neuroplasticity, we gain freedom. And that is to live, not just exist, not just wait until retirement and death, but to live full out. And that's where the Courageous Heart was born. It takes courage sometimes to get up and get out of bed and take on the actions needed. And when you get healthier and healthier and healthier, as the healing journey helps you to be, then you take on even more, and it just ramps up the juice of life. And that's what being energized is all about. It's feeling vibrantly alive and living and radiating. In the heart piece, we generate a stronger electromagnetic field from our hearts than from our brains. So yes, we walk into rooms, as a couple of my folks here, Dr. McKeever and Alana has mentioned. That's because we perceive that energy from the heart. So energy is life. Be courageous and heal, and then live energized. That's what it's about, folks, for me anyway.
Yeah, that full on juiciness. Yes, ma'am. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I love that. I love thinking about life that way. It's a little bit more interesting and fun that way, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Kathy, what about you for this one? What do you want people to know about this topic?
I think for me, learning how easy it is to work with energy and how much healing can happen as a result of very simple techniques has blown me away in my own journey. I used to think it was so hard to do, and I was looking for this person, that person, whatever, to help me. And then I've learned a few things, and oh my gosh, anyone can learn to do this. And there are no side effects. It's free, and you get, often immediate results. And it's just totally changed my life.
Yeah, did you guys hear what Kathy just said there? You can experience immediate results, and I'm going to add on long lasting. And there is something about the change that you can feel. For me, certain changes were so palpable. I remember a psychic intuitive tapping gal, and I had this session. It's hard to describe, what this thing was that I got myself into. But when I described it to my friends, I said, I walked to the car feeling 1,000 pounds lighter. Like my body just felt lighter, literally, physically. And that heaviness we walk around with is something I think we live like that. We don't even realize we're living like that until it really hurts and something is really bothering us, right? So what if we could get it off a little sooner, lighten up? And these, oh my goodness, Kathy, I think you really hit on it too about immediate. What was that personal moment for you, Kathy, in terms of like, can you remember one where you just felt different?
What came to mind was a doctor I used to go to who's now retired. He did applied kinesiology, chiropractic, acupuncture, a bunch of things, and an emotional technique, healing. And he just did some stuff up and down my back as I was feeling the emotions of some, trauma, I guess you'd say, and or old memories. And with what he did, it was so easy and it was gone. And I had no more back pain. And that's when I started really associating the pain in my body with the emotional things that were going on. And I've not had any problems in my back really since I've dealt with all these issues that way. That was incredible for me.
Yeah, awesome. And so Dr. Makiba, let me move to you. You also talked about back pain, which is interesting, right? Like this can be a direct physical connection. But on this particular question, what do you want people to understand about this?
Yeah. So I want people to, I want all people to recognize that energy is real because, as much as we say it and as much as we know that it's real, there are people who doubt it. It's real. So we are all energy beings. We have an energy body, and we don't have to be specially trained to heal people. We just have to approach it with love and intention. We were talking a little bit about that first experience where you first felt that energy. And for me, it was from an old friend holding my hand and asking me how I was feeling and truly recognizing that I was not being honest about how I was feeling. And I could feel a current of love and compassion and a bit of a buzz go up through my arm and to my heart. And it felt like someone had just pumped me full of life again. And so that was really the start of my journey looking into what energy can do. Like, what was that? What was that buzzing? And so that's my contribution to this is that it's real and that I wish for everyone to explore it, learn more about it. And then also, Laura, when you were talking about feeling lighter after having this experience, I had an appointment with a psychiatrist who asked me how I was feeling after I had a shamanic Reiki experience or whatever. He was not very familiar with it. And I told him that I felt lighter. And he said, that's not an emotion. I was like, how are you going to tell me how I feel. But with
Yeah.
that, I believe that if we get our energy aligned and open, that we're more receptive to other treatments and things as well.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for that little story piece there. Lighter for me, it even means posture is open and I can take a deeper breath. And it's just everything is easier. You know, that lightness of being is literal, but it's yeah. And it's, you know, you guys can tell sometimes it's a little hard to describe, and we're trying to help you understand it. Maybe you've felt little inklings of what we're talking about today. Maybe you haven't yet, but you're open and curious, right? Now that you've heard these discussions and heard these descriptions, hopefully next time someone grabs your hand and you feel the laser beam of love to your heart, like Makiba is talking about, you'll be like, oh, that's what that is, you know, and it's so good. It's so good. So we've been talking about energy in this internal way, which is where I think it all starts. But you guys know that you can also have things that you do for your environment, your office, your home, like the energy in your external space really matters also, you know? So, Denise, start us off with this one. What's one thing that you do to create the great energy in your living or working spaces?
First thing is decluttering. I inherited a lot of crap, 4 generations of savers and collectors. So declutter the heck out of it. And then I would add, I know you asked for one, but second is essential oils in a diffuser to change the energy in the space and even outside. So that's my big thing, is declutter, which is cleansing the external stuff is energy. And we've been talking about our internal energy. So you know what? Everything that you see is matter. It's all your first chakra that's manifested as stuff. Declutter it. And then again, that's freedom.
Yeah, fan of decluttering for sure. So huge. And it's so daunting for people. You guys get help and do the decluttering. Just
And
get some help.
that's where the tapping can come in to help you through that emotional piece of it. Calm down the amygdala, the fight or flight response. And then that helps mature and detach the programming about what it means, So yeah, tapping. I actually probably tapping's number one, but decluttering is front and center for me these days.
Well, you're right. You're bringing up a good point that I can't declutter my house if that stuff inside is keeping me, blocking me, preventing me from moving forward in those external ways. You guys, this is all intertwined. And so, you know, if you are sitting there like, oh my gosh, I know I need to declutter, it's such a problem, whatever, and you have not been able to get yourself moving forward in that direction, it may be that you have to start internally. And I love that Denise is, you know, bringing that up. It's very possible. So, Kathy, what about you? What's one way that you use for the spaces you live or work in?
I've learned very simple morning and evening grounding exercise. It's a way to get rid of the excess energy I've picked up from other people or situations during the day. So combined with daily visualizations and affirmations of what I want my life to look like, I can help with intention to make the days go better and make my life go a little bit more orderly.
I love that Kathy's talking about the rituals that happen like first thing in the morning, last thing before you go to bed, because that kind of sets up the whole rest of the time of your living, right? Or sleeping. I mean, sleeping is a big part of living. You guys got to sleep. But when you set it up like that energetically, you really set the intention for the whole rest of the day or that whole restful sleeping time. Yeah, super duper awesome and important. Dr. Makiba, how about you? What's one of the ways you energize your space?
I have crystals everywhere, all over my space, my workspace, my home, and they do different things. But I have them positioned in different areas so some of them can catch the sunlight, and it just really makes a difference in how I'm feeling in the room. I also wear a lot of crystals on my body.
Give us one example of where you've placed a crystal intentionally and why.
Hmm. So, in my office, I have a very big selenite crystal lamp, and it's very close to my desk. And I like that it lights up because the light adds to the illumination and the disbursement of the energy of that one piece. And it really, for me, I feel like it keeps me a little bit more grounded, but also helps me tap into my spirituality a lot more. So I have selenite in all of my rooms, everywhere, placed in different corners, but it just gives me like an added strength.
I love it. Thank you for that example. I know in the beginning when I was dabbling with crystals and different things like that, and I didn't really know what the heck I was doing. I always love to hear like, well, what do you use it for? Like, how are you using these things? And you start to have these ideas, and then you can try them out and explore and, experiment. And the cool thing is you're not going to hurt or harm anything by experimenting with beautiful crystals. It's going to be a really easy, fun way. Boy, a lot of people have been talking about crystals. I love it. Alana, how about you? What's one of the ways you create space externally with your tools?
So I still have young kids at home. And this is one of the things that I definitely am working on, because I would love to have space be a certain way and they may not always agree. So the internal has to really be there and to help my external. So again, surrounding myself where I can with things that make me feel good, give me that spaciousness. And really, this is where I have to tap into my guides, my angels, to help cleanse, to help me be cleansed, and asking for that support externally within my family, and making sure that I'm asking for what it is that I need, which is the help to keep things tidy, or have it the way that it makes me feel good and that they can enjoy as well.
I was listening to someone talk about this particular subject of keeping things tidy and organized and clean and in their place. And it made so much sense, when you have things organized, especially everything that you use, the function of your home, your kitchen, for example. And if everything is organized and you know where everything is, and it's not hard to find when you're looking for something, that's a lot less energy that you have to expend in your daily life in a place that you are every day, like the kitchen, bathroom, kitchen, living area, these places where we spend big chunks of time. Oh my gosh, especially over the last couple of years, everybody, at home. And I love thinking about that, like, oh yeah, okay, I can, the tidiness, the clean spaces and the orderly, organized spaces help your energy, feel increased. It sounds basic, but, sometimes I think we don't think about it like that. Okay, so I want to move into this last question today. Kathy, I'm going to start this one with you. So for a lot of you, I'm sure a lot of you will resonate with this, but if you're highly empathic or a highly sensitive person, which I'm pretty sure all healers are, it's our superpower, you guys. You may have the issue though of feeling everything and not being able to discern what's yours and not yours. And that can feel very overwhelming. And I wonder, so Kathy, you first, I wonder, is this you? Have you experienced what I'm talking about? And what do you want to share with our listeners about that?
I absolutely resonate with that, and to the point where I shut off my intuition for about 20 years. I was picking up everything and I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't even hear the term sensitive people, highly sensitive people, or empath until just a few years back. So I've learned meditation was a big thing where I can be present in my body. So I started out with actually guided meditations I got from YouTube, so I could learn how to be quiet, because I just had the monkey mind, unbelievable. And so that helped me start being aware of my own feelings, my own self, my own person. And that was the beginning of being able to let go of everything around me. So that's, I think, what I take from that.
Yes, I think a meditation practice. Ooh, I, hesitate to use the M word. I don't want to scare you guys away. So, we've been talking today about active meditation, different kinds of ways to meditate. It doesn't always have to be sitting on a pillow with your legs crossed, right? It could be that you're just feeling the warm water as you do the dishes, period. It could be anything you're doing and doing it here in the now, in your body with mindful presence, right? But I think what Kathy said is making me think that, especially if you're empathic or highly sensitive, you are going to need a practice. You're going to need a practice of meditation, however that is going to help you calm and bring yourself literally down into your center, into that core powerhouse belly button area. Bring your presence down into your body, because we're all up here all day. It seems like all the time, right? And just there's only certain capacity to be there before you have a freak out. I know you guys can relate to that. Makiba, how about you on this one? Do you resonate? What do you want our listeners to know about being highly sensitive?
Yes, it absolutely resonates. And like Kathy, I didn't shut mine off. I kept mine on. And I was like, what do I do with this feeling, with these emotions? And so what I do now is meditate. I meditate twice a day, every day at a minimum, just to make sure that I have a time. When I work with my clients, I call it a reset, that we need twice a day. Just hit the reset button for yourself. Give yourself time so that you can be still and just kind of tap into how you're feeling. So that's my recommendation. I also do spiritual baths periodically when it gets super heavy, and I go out and I put my feet in the dirt and hold on to a tree and ask Mother Earth to take some of that off of me if it's a lot, if it's extra.
I like that a lot too. That nature connection, that earthing can really help. That feeling into that as a form of meditation, you guys, right? There's so many ways to get still and to center. So I love all of these examples. Alana, how about you? What do you want people to know about this?
One of the tools I use is called Human Design, and it gives you a map, like a blueprint of how your energies actually operate. So which parts of you do you receive energy from the world around you versus what are the energies you're giving? And that discernment is so huge. And because we think in pictures, it's like if you don't know a lot about it and how you operate, but you just have these little pieces of knowing, okay, so I radiate out this energy, but yet I feel people's fear really intensely. That's a game changer in how you go out in the world, because yes, you are very sensitive. We all are to the energies around us. And when we have blocks, we've learned to wall off those gifts. They're really our superpowers. So if I know how you're feeling in the way of what you're afraid of, I know where that's blocking you. And once you know that it's blocking you, you have the ability to shift it. So that discernment is huge. And I absolutely agree with grounding. I hear a lot of times people say, well, I know that all this energy comes in. I don't know how to protect myself. You can absolutely find ways and learn ways to shield yourself. And like Makiba said, wear stones. I have black tourmaline. So if you don't know how to do that energetically, use physical things to help support you so that you can be aware of the energy, but not absorbed and lost in it.
I love that. Thank you. You're giving me this idea of, somebody told me a while back, they're like, remember, water is a spiritual medium. And even if you take that nighttime shower or bath, and you imagine just washing all the energy away, letting it go down into the drain, and into the earth where it can be alchemized by something much bigger than you, right? And just even imagining that and having that few moments of visualizing, right, and feeling that energy is so good. And I love that you guys are showing. I don't have mine on today, but normally I have my crystal bracelets too. So whatever way works for you guys. Denise, you're gonna close us out today on this one. What do you want people to know about that feeling of being highly sensitive?
That it is a gift. It's not a curse. And skills need to be learned so that you can, number one, protect yourself. And there's a zipper up procedure. There's other procedures. So prevention, boundaries are huge. Learn about your boundaries and how to communicate. And so it's not a defense. It's not the wall. It's skillful means for interacting with people on a higher evolved conscious level. Baths, essential oils, Epsom salts, those are my go-tos when I really need to purify my energy. And then I would take it a step further, because mindset's a big part of this, the voices in the chattering mind, and what archetypes are at play. Are you in a servant archetype where you feel compelled to keep giving and overgiving? So there's many aspects to this. But self-care is number one. I have a self-care planner on my resource page people can avail themselves of. So prevention, and then cleansing, and then up-level your skills.
I love that you have a self-care planner. You know, self-care is the foundation of being able to show up in the world with badass energy. And that means so many things. It means you can help more people. You stay healthy while you're helping more people. And it's so important. It's necessary if we're going to give from an overflow, right? Rather than our reserves. You don't want to burn out. I've known healers to burn out in a few years because they didn't understand what Denise was just talking about with their boundaries, right? And what this energy thing really means. So as you all can tell, this topic is juicy and our authors have so much to share with you and to teach you. And really, to all four of you, thank you so much. Thanks for saying yes to this project and for offering your amazing stories that were really vulnerable windows into your life and how you got to what you're doing today. But also the master teachings that you are dropping are phenomenal. And this book is really, it's going to help so many people. Authors, thank you so much for what you do in the world and for being here today. Thanks, ladies.
You're welcome.
So, okay, everyone, remember you're going to be invited to, well, you are invited to our book launch party for the Energy Medicine Solution. It's going to be on November 18th on the Brave Healer Productions page, or you're going to find the invite and the Zoom link, and you can join us and rub elbows with the authors and ask questions. And we're going to have the authors there, all of them introducing themselves and sharing their inspiration. So I have the link for that down below for you. But, you know, maybe you heard something today that just made you curious or gave you the goosebumps or you're resonating with. These are much more than books. They're communities of awesome, skilled experts who are very generously there for you to take the next step, to answer the question, to give you the support that you need. So drop on down to those show notes where I have all of these authors hooked up with their websites and take a little exploration. See what awesome things they're up to in the world. It's a lot. You'll be amazed. And lastly, if you are happening to be listening to this around that November 18th timeframe or beyond, that means this book is ready and you should go over to Amazon and buy your copy today. And lastly, today, everyone, remember, your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it's time to be brave. See you next time, everyone. I'll give you the heart first.